A huge opening weekend can be created by hype. Long-term audience love cannot. Superhero movies have produced record-breaking hits, award winners, and major disappointments, but only a small group still receives the same enthusiasm years after release. For this ranking, we considered global audience ratings, the number of people who voted, awards, repeat viewing appeal, and lasting cultural impact. This is not a critic-only list, and ties and audience scores were separated by the scale and longevity of each film's reception. Very recent releases were excluded because their long-term audience data has not settled yet. From cosmic misfits to a crime film that permanently changed the genre, here are the 10 most loved superhero movies of all time. Number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy. When Marvel announced a film built around an obscure cosmic team, a talking raccoon, and a walking tree, it sounded like one of the studio's biggest risks. James Gunn turned that strange combination into one of Marvel's most accessible movies. Guardians of the Galaxy works because every member of the team is hiding a different kind of loneliness. Their personalities clash, but that conflict gradually becomes chemistry and then a convincing found family story. The soundtrack connects Peter Quill to Earth and to the mother he lost, giving the space adventure a personal identity. Guardians proved audiences did not need an established icon if the characters were worth caring about. Number 9, Logan. Logan treats superpowers as a burden rather than a fantasy. Its Wolverine is older, physically failing, and carrying decades of violence with him. Professor X, once one of the most powerful minds in the world, has become vulnerable and dangerous. The result feels closer to a neo-Western or road drama than a conventional comic book movie. The violence is not the main reason the film works. Its strength is consequence. Every injury matters, and every relationship feels temporary. Protecting Laura gives Logan one final reason to act like the hero he stopped believing he could be. Its Academy Award nomination for Adapted Screenplay confirmed that the writing was being judged beyond normal genre expectations. The ending also gave Hugh Jackman's original Wolverine run an emotional conclusion audiences remembered. Number 8, Spider-Man, No Way Home. Spider-Man, No Way Home could easily have become an empty nostalgia machine. It brought together heroes and villains from 3 generations of Spider-Man films, yet still made those returns matter. The older Spider-Men carry regrets that force Tom Holland's Peter Parker to decide what kind of hero he wants to become. The villains test his belief that people should be saved rather than simply defeated. Its lasting strength is the ending. Peter wins the battle and loses almost everything else. Nobody remembers him, and he refuses to pull his friends back into danger. That sacrifice turns multiverse fanservice into a painful coming-of-age story. Number 7, Batman Begins. Before Batman Begins, audiences knew Batman's origin in broad strokes, but Christopher Nolan rebuilt it as a complete psychological journey. Bruce Wayne does not become Batman simply because he has money and equipment. He studies fear, crime, corruption, and the limits of revenge before deciding what his symbol should mean. The film grounds Gotham without removing its comic book identity. The city feels dirty and institutionally broken. Ra's al Ghul challenges Bruce's definition of justice, while Scarecrow turns fear itself into a weapon. Batman Begins created the template for the modern serious reboot, but it remains effective because the realism serves the character rather than replacing him. Number 6, The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises had to conclude a trilogy after one of the most acclaimed superhero films ever made. It responded by making the story larger, more physical, and more final. Bane attacks more than Batman's body. He challenges the belief that Bruce Wayne can sacrifice himself forever without changing. Gotham collapses around him, but the central question stays personal. Can Bruce imagine a life not built around pain? Not every plot turn is equally convincing, but the ending provides real closure. The final minutes transform Batman from one damaged man's mission into a symbol that can survive him. Number 5, Avengers, Endgame. Avengers Endgame attempted something no previous blockbuster had done on the same scale. Conclude a connected story spread across 22 films while giving emotional resolution to its central heroes. The time travel structure revisits major MCU moments, but the film is strongest when it slows down. Its surviving heroes confront failure, sacrifice, and the lives they lost before choosing whether to risk everything again. Then the portals open, and more than a decade of audience investment is released in one sequence. The film earned roughly $2.8 billion worldwide because it felt like a shared ending for an era of popular cinema. For viewers who followed the journey, few theatrical experiences delivered a larger payoff. Number 4, Avengers. Infinity War. Infinity War is often considered the tighter of the two final Avengers films. It has to manage an enormous cast across several planets, yet every storyline moves toward the same threat. The unusual decision is to structure the movie around Thanos. He drives the plot and believes he is completing a necessary mission. The film never validates his logic, but its focus makes him more dangerous than a villain waiting for the final battle. The heroes make understandable decisions that fail. When Thanos finally succeeds, the silence after the snap lands harder than another explosion could have. Infinity War crossed $2 billion worldwide and ended with the villain winning. That combination of scale, control, and shock made it one of the genre's defining blockbusters. Number 3. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse changed what a major studio animated film could look like. Computer animation, hand-drawn effects, comic panels, and halftone printing combine into a visual language created specifically for Spider-Man. The style would mean little without Miles Morales. His struggle is believing he has the right to take the leap at all. The other Spider-People show him there is no single correct way to wear the mask. The leap of faith sequence turns that idea into an unforgettable image. Miles is not copying Peter Parker, he is becoming Spider-Man in his own way. The film won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and influenced animation across the industry. Number 2. Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse expands the first film's visual breakthrough without losing the characters. Different universes use distinct textures, movement, and visual rules. Gwen's watercolor world even changes with her emotions. Miguel O'Hara argues that every Spider-Man story must follow fixed tragic events. Miles refuses to accept that suffering is a requirement for legitimacy. The multiverse becomes a conflict between repeating the past and creating a new path. Gwen's arc adds guilt, isolation, and reconciliation. The film ends before resolving its central conflict, which is why it stops short of number 1. Even unfinished, its audience reception and visual ambition place it among the genre's best. Number 1. The Dark Knight. At number 1 is The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan approached the film as a crime thriller in which Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent try to dismantle organized crime. The Joker wants to expose the limits of every rule that separates the heroes from him. That conflict gives the action meaning. Batman's physical power cannot control someone who does not fear pain or death, while Harvey Dent's fall shows how quickly a public symbol of hope can be destroyed. Heath Ledger won a posthumous Academy Award, but the film's reputation is not built on one role alone. The writing, practical action, music, editing, and moral tension support the same story. It became the first superhero film to pass $1 billion worldwide and stayed near the top of audience rankings. The Dark Knight is number 1 because it works as a Batman film, a crime film, and a tragedy at the same time. The entire genre is still measured against it. That was our ranking of the 10 most loved superhero movies of all time. Which film deserves number 1, and which movie should have made the list? Subscribe to Peak Selects for more rankings, and thanks for watching.